Society wants to ban men going their own way.
On the internet for a while, and you will see plenty of commentary from self-proclaimed MGTOWs, men going their own way. In this video, I'm going to tell you why I did not join the group of MGTOWs and why that matters to you, the nomad cat.
Society wants to ban men going their own way. Guys, everyone seems to be after MGTOW these days. Women want it banned, the state wants it banned, society wants it banned. Watch the end of the video to understand why society wants to ban men going their own way. Today we have a video from the Nomad Capitalist. His channel is linked in the description so you can go and check him out. And now we'll just go ahead and jump right into the video.
Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson. Let's talk about men going their own way. I think this is a very interesting topic from a number of perspectives, both just as a person and as a global citizen, as a nomad capitalist as well. Now, as you can see, I have a wedding ring, and so therefore I'm not able to be a man going his own way because I've been sucked into the depravity by womankind or by a woman, I don't know exactly. I want to share my experience in a way that I haven't talked a lot before, that I think kind of speaks to why I empathize with folks who are in this group, but why I think that the approach is often wrong. And so I absolutely empathize with folks who are frustrated with the way the world is going. When we look at what happens in the West, I don't know that after me being gone for so many years, having not been to the US, that I would feel very comfortable living there.
Now, guys, as you can see on the screen, if you go over to TikTok, you type in men going their own way, nothing actually comes up. If you type in MGTOW, nothing comes up. But if you read the screen, it says no results. But then below it, it says this phrase may be associated with behavior or content that violates our guidelines. Promoting a safe and positive experience is TikTok's top priority. For more information, we invite you to review our community guidelines. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't come up for MGTOW or men going their own way. However, if you type in the word feminism, then it doesn't really matter. You know, you'll see a lot, like, for example, the video on the right is an absolutely disgusting video. Her father actually put out, the one of the blonde, her father actually put out a video saying that he disowned her. I think it was for this very video where she talks about eating kitty and committing a variety of degenerate acts. And this is one of the videos that comes up from feminism, right? So you can see that, you know, even though women are posting even sometimes very hateful content directed at men, they're still allowing it on the platform. But if it's MGTOW related, it's absolutely gone. And that's just the reality we live in right now, because they do not want us talking amongst ourselves. They do not want us communicating. They want to basically want to shut down almost all dialogue. Don't be surprised if and when the day comes where they even ban the term passport bros, because on TikTok, because this is where it's headed. Women do not want men walking away. Women do not want men going their own way. And you can see that. You can see that in the way that people are acting now. You can see in the things that women are saying. They're very angry. They say that they don't want men around them, but then at the same time they want to know how to approach a man, because men are no longer allowed to approach them, which is what they've mandated. But they need to know how to approach men, since they've mandated that men cannot approach them. And they don't seem to understand that if a woman is unapproachable, if she has made herself unapproachable to a man is not going to want an unapproachable woman to approach him. But of course, they don't think this way. All right? They basically put themselves between a rock and a hard place, and they don't understand that men, the very same men that they now want, don't want them. They think that they can have anything and everything, and they're entitled to men. Isn't that interesting? Women believe that they are entitled to men. They are entitled to men. They're entitled to male attention from the men that they want attention from. They're entitled to the men that they want, and they can't comprehend that some men don't want them. And the very moment that they are rejected, they immediately question the man's sexuality and begin saying that, they begin trying to shame him using, shame, insults, guilt, gaslighting, nagging, because they need to be right. And it's all done because they cannot handle the fact that there are some men who are done with the games, done with the nonsense, or just simply put, not interested in what they have to offer or the lack of what they have to offer. That's the reality, because most women today, they've made it clear that they do not offer anything. They say that they're the table, and a man should never ask what does a woman bring to the table, because they're the man. This is it's ridiculous. That's the reason why women want men under surveillance. Yeah, women want men under surveillance 24 hours a day. Okay, that's why YouTube is handing over, the watch history, the search history of men, over 30,000 men, because they want to basically keep men under surveillance all the time. This is the new reality that we live in. And then all the while, you have women who are doubling down and reading and, getting off to books about witchcraft, which is insane.
I love reading A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch by Sarah Hawley, which is the sequel to A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, which I absolutely freaking adore. One of my favorite rom-coms of all time. It is so much fun. I was not prepared for how hilarious the antics in this book were going to be. It's better than I was expecting. I'm not exaggerating when I say I am laughing out loud on almost every single page. Stroth wakes up with amnesia after getting his ass beat and finds out he was banished to Earth by one of the other demon bosses. He is the only one who can help him. Caladia has such an attitude.
This is ridiculous, guys. So they are literally in love with demons. Demons, all right? From hell. They are in love with otherworldly, hellish entities. In some of these books, they're even trying to get into relationships with Satan himself, all right? And they're now promoting the satanic Bible, and basically saying that if God, how is it that you're going to have attitude about Satan, but we don't talk about what God has done. God is the one responsible for all the bad things happening in the world. So why are you blaming Satan for everything? They literally have the satanic Bible, and they're trying to basically make it into a notion that, you shouldn't worship God. You shouldn't think about God, because look at all God has done for the world, right? So it's either he doesn't exist, or basically, if he does, why would you want to listen to someone like that? And they try to make it sound logical and rational and reasonable, but the reality is they're just trying to move you further away from Christ. Okay? This is what they're up to. They're out here doing this type of demonic thing, engaging in this type of demonic behavior, and that's the reason why society wants to ban MGTOW. They want to ban MWA, men walking away, men with alternatives. They want to ban MGTOW, which are men who want to separate themselves from relationships and society. They don't want men leaving, because even though they don't like us, they need us. And even though they want to admit to it, they obviously know it, because we pay 80% off all taxes, while women make 80% off all consumer purchases. That's why this church is pissed off with us. That's why the church is furious that we're not getting into relationships. On one hand, you have the sim pastor who's saying that men who want beautiful women are committing a sin, because really what we are is lusting after our mothers, because our mothers were beautiful women who gave us everything that we wanted. So really we want our mothers, when in reality we should be accepting a woman who we can serve and be selfless for. All right, so it doesn't matter. It's not about what she looks for. It's not about what she looks like. It's about what you can do for her. It's about what you can sacrifice for her. Unbelievable madness. All right, and then yet the same pastor who says this nonsense then turns around and complains that young men are not interested in relationships at all. They're not interested in being physically intimate with a woman. They're not interested in dating or having any type of relationship with a woman. And he's furious about this. I mean, pick one. Pick one, bro. You're pissed off. I mean, shouldn't you be happy that men are avoiding sexual immorality? But then at the same time, you're cursing out men, including college-age men. He brings them up because if they dare to look at a woman who is, look at a woman's beauty instead of determining whether or not it's a woman who could use him for his utility. What kind of stupidity is this? All right. And they're furious about MGTOW because, for example, the church, they rely on tithes and offerings. Men pay 80% of taxes. So if men are not going to church, then that tithe is not getting paid. And if that tithe is not getting paid, then and offerings are not getting paid, then the pastor, they're losing money. They can't survive. All right, they're going broke. That's what's happening to the state right now. If they cannot find a way to motivate men to want to produce, to want to create the family, continue creating the family unit, then they're screwed. All right. If men walk away from relationships with women, if men say we don't want the kitty anymore, it's not worth the juice, then men will only make just enough money to survive and thrive and no more. And they're aware of this. That's what happened before the fall of the Roman Empire, where the Roman Empire ended up in a state where all of its assets were being used to subsidize the lives of women, as men abandoned the empire and basically said, yeah, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to participate. We're going to leave everything to collapse. And they punished the men. They had them running in the winter they had them running in the cold during the winter time for over 100 years. They barred them from the Colosseums, barred them from theater, and the men still didn't care. The men basically sat back. They took whatever punishments the empire threw at them, and they basically huddled down, and they didn't give a damn. And basically the bastard children of Chad and Tyrone began running wild. This is how Roberto actually laid it out for us. The empire was no longer producing anything. Children of Chad and Tyrone were unfit. Everything in the empire went to subsidize the lives of women. The empire had no army. They had to pay barbarians to protect the empire. The barbarians realized that the emperor had no clothes, meaning they could not protect themselves and they had no money. The barbarians tore the empire apart, pillaged it all the way throughout Europe, all the way down to Africa. All right, from all of Europe through the Middle East to Africa. They pillaged the empire, tore it apart, plunged us into 1,000 years of darkness. All right, and then after 1,000 years of darkness, math and science were then reintroduced to the world after being kept secret by the church that relied upon the ignorance of human beings and fear to control them. Yeah, that actually happened. Guys, society wants to ban men going their own way, and now you can see why. And the only reality that's going to happen is that women are going to find themselves in extraordinary states of destitution as more and more men go their own way. Come 2030, 45% of all women will be childless and single between the ages of 25 and 44. That's not including single mothers. If you count them in, that's more like 70 to 90% of women. So most women in the United States will be single, and they won't be able to afford anything. They won't have men to subsidize them anymore. A significant portion of women in Western society will also be over the age of 70, and they don't have income. They don't have the income to retire. Social Security is out of money, will be completely out of money come 2034, although it could run out much sooner than that. If the current workforce continues to remain low, 30 million men have dropped out of the workforce, and more men are dropping out every year. They were hoping that Gen Zers would replace them, but we know that 40% of employers going back 2 years ago said they would not even give Gen Z a job. They won't allow them in the workforce. And fast forward 2 years later, it's much worse than now. It's probably 50 to 70%, if not even worse. And Gen Zers are also dropping out of the workforce and society. 77%. Correction, 91% of Gen Zers report to having a mental illness. A quarter of Gen Zers report to having a long-term mental illness. Essentially, they are mentally disabled, may be able to file for disability, but they are so messed up that they cannot really hold any serious positions in society. They are really screwed up. 25% of Gen Zers are messed up badly. 91% of Gen Zers are mentally ill. 77% were found between the years of 2017 and 2019 not fit to serve in the U.S. military because of mental incompetence, mental illness, obesity, and substance abuse. And that was a report conducted that they started collecting data for 7 years ago. So now we know if that was 77% back then, it's now probably closer to 100%. Yeah, so they're cooked. They're absolutely cooked. So Social Security is going to run out. You're going to have a lot of women who are not going to be able to provide for themselves. They're not going to be able to rely on the government. There's going to be a lot of destitution, homelessness, poverty, women living in shelters, living in their cars, living on the streets, living in the woods. It's going to be absolutely horrible. I grew up in New York. I remember the 80s. I have never seen so many homeless people in my life. I grew up during that CRACK epidemic situation, so y'all know what I'm talking about. It was bad back then, and we realize that there's hard times are coming again. Truly horrific times are coming again. There's going to be a lot of homeless people out there, specifically homeless women, a lot of homeless older people. Don't forget that the boomers are the fastest growing homeless population in the United States, so they're about to get it. I mean, it's just going to be bad. All right, women are going to find themselves in extreme states of destitution, while men are going to be a lot of men are going to become wealthy because the average man can live in a shoebox at the side of the road quite comfortably. So they're just going to basically, most men are just going to sit it out or wait it out and watch as everything goes to hell and not give an absolute damn. All right, so they're going to save their money by living below their means. Like I said, PlayStation 5 is a one-time purchase, and a lot of guys aren't even upgrading from PlayStation 4. A number of you have even said that, hey, you're already going back to PlayStation 3, loading up tons of games on PlayStation 3 and just rocking out with that, which is absolutely incredible. All right. The simple truth is that men are very happy with less. For a man, less is more. And if we have so many things that we can keep ourselves entertained with as everything is going to hell, as long as we, get into homesteading, setting up, get a piece of land, set up some solar panels, learn skills, learn how to do basic plumbing, these things, you can learn how to do these things as a man. We're a man, learn how to use a tape measure. We can basically take care of ourselves, build things for ourselves, a place to sleep, a place to poop, and a bit of entertainment, food to eat. We're good. Guys, here's the thing. As men, get our hands on a couple of rabbits, get our hands on a couple of chickens. Those damn things will multiply pretty quickly. We'll have meat, we'll have rice, we'll have food. As a lot of us, we just need a starch and a protein, and we're good. We're absolutely good. We can eat that thing almost every single day, and we can mix it up. If we want candy, we can make our own candy. That's the thing, because back in the 1800s when people were poor, even other countries, they learned how to make candy using things like orange peels and so forth. And the thing is, men are so industrious that we'll do things like that. We will literally learn how to make candy for ourselves. All right. We'll learn how to create things for ourselves. And women are like, I would never eat that. I would never touch that stuff. All right. You're a bunch of brokies. And then when they're on the streets and they don't have anything, we're all basically just chilling and having a damn good time. Serves them right. I mean, they basically said they didn't want us. They said they would choose the bear over us. And now their choices are very few and far in between, and there's no one coming to save them. Men are walking away. Men are done with the games. Men are done with the nonsense. Men are not playing around. Women threw us away, and we're basically like, okay, Felicia, good. That's on you. Live your best life, and we'll live our best life, and we'll see who comes out ahead. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, head over to, go ahead and subscribe. You should subscribe to my newsletter for my personal thoughts, insights, and a free copy of my ebook, The Blueprint for Escaping the Rat Race. Click the link in the description to get your free copy. Guys, what do you think regarding all of this? Society wants to ban men going their own way. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.